Xbox partners up with Verizon. We get a first look at the UI of PSVR 2. And could Square Enix be getting ready to sell to Sony? All right, guys, before we get into this, if you're new here, you like what you see, consider hitting that subscribe button. So with the expansion of the Xbox ecosystem into cloud gaming, into being able to access the ecosystem on a mobile device, on a tablet, on a phone, all of that type of stuff, we are now seeing a partnership with Verizon going forward to start selling Xbox consoles, including all access and branding the Xbox sales as an example of 5G innovation. So this isn't anything really new. Verizon has apparently sold game consoles before. It says here the carrier has stocked the PlayStation 5 on its online store times, and today it has announced a partnership with Microsoft that will see Verizon offer both the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S through the All Access monthly financing program. And that's the program where you pay a monthly fee, I think it's like $25 a month or something like that, and you get access to the console. You also get access to Xbox Game Pass, Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, until you've paid it off, and then you officially own it, which has always been a really great program, I think, especially since it's 0% financing. It's just you paying it off on a monthly basis to get all of this stuff, get the huge value of Xbox Game Pass, and just gives people easier access to get into the ecosystem. But with All Access, Verizon is actually taking this a step further, as starting on July 28th, the deal will be there, but there will also be deals with things like 50% off Xbox Elite Series 2 controllers, which, I mean, an incredible controller. And we also just talked about the other day that there is a rumor that they will be making an Xbox Elite Series 3. So you'll probably see the prices of the Elite Series 2 drop significantly if that were to happen. And if that does happen, still would recommend getting the Elite Series 2, as it is a very, very good controller. And they're also branding this now as an innovation thing. Today's announcement that we're joining forces with Microsoft builds on Verizon's promise of 5G growth and innovation across multiple platforms, including mobility, nationwide broadband, and the most popular consumer offerings. And they're saying things like, if you want to get 5G within your home to be able to play lots of multiplayer, they will offer you the Fios and 5G home. Or hey, you want 5G on your mobile data plan so you can access the faster speeds for cloud gaming and even playing multiplayer via mobile. So some interesting branding and some interesting marketing here going on by Verizon and Xbox. But I mean, this is honestly kind of a no-brainer if you really think about where Xbox is going. Having partnerships with these telecom companies makes a ton of sense, because someone comes into the store, the chances are, at least in today's day and age, that they are going to also be gaming on top of having their phone, whether it's mobile gaming, whether it's going to be within Xbox Game Pass, is pretty high when you think of how big the gaming market is now and how it has moved into the mainstream. And offering them the option as well, hey, if you want to get into Xbox Game Pass and you want to have the best, I guess, connection possible with 5G, you can also have this deal and get some savings on things like an Elite Series 2, or even let them know about the All Access, because the All Access thing is something that's still going on, and is still, I wonder how many people actually take advantage of it, especially with something like the Xbox Series S, because it is a much cheaper console. But for $25 a month to get access to all of this type of stuff, definitely a deal that really can't be beaten. And we'll see if this kind of goes out to other telecom companies out there, or if it's only going to be something that sticks with Verizon. All right, let's talk about some PlayStation VR 2. We know this is just around the corner, and we see what the headset looks like, we've seen what the controller looks like. It is going to be a big upgrade over the first PlayStation VR. And now we got another look into the user experience for PlayStation VR 2. So there's a couple of things here that I think are huge improvements over the first PSVR. I had the first PSVR. It was okay. I didn't use it that much. It kind of got old pretty fast, and there was a lot of things with it that I wish were there. And it seems like they are fixing that right now with PSVR 2. First of all, there is going to be a see-through view. So you're actually not going to have to take off your headset to see where you are, to pick up your controllers, to find a headphones or whatever, or see what's around you so you don't run into stuff with the headset on, which is awesome, because taking it off, putting it back on over and over again within a single play session can get annoying. Even little things like that probably deters people from wanting to actually play with the PSVR, the first one itself. But this, I think, is going to be a big improvement. You're going to see people probably staying and using the headset longer than they would have previously. There's going to be this feature here where you're going to be able to actually broadcast yourself while playing. And I feel like this is a great thing to add with the PS5 HD camera. If you have that for the console, you're going to see the person with the headset on, playing the game. You're also going to be able to see the gameplay. I have a feeling this is going to be something that people are going to be interested in watching via live streams. There's going to be a customized play area, which is a big, again, upgrade over the previous PSVR, where what we're seeing here with this user interface, with the see-through and all of that type of stuff, you're going to actually cordon off where you're playing the game. Whereas with the other one, you didn't really know. You couldn't, without that see-through mode, you couldn't see what was around you. There was just the virtual box within the game that you kind of had to stay within. But if there was something in the way, or if there wasn't enough space, it would sometimes just be cumbersome to the actual experience. Specifically, it says here the play area for PSVR 2 can be customized by using the PSVR 2 Sense controller and the embedded cameras. The cameras will allow you to scan the room, while the PSVR 2 Sense controllers allow you to expand and further customize the play area to fit your playstyle and room environment. And finally, there's going to be a VR mode and cinematic mode. The VR mode, players can enjoy VR game content in a 360 view virtual environment. Obviously, that's what VR is. It makes you feel like you're right there. And then there's going to be a content mode, which will be displayed in 4000 by 2040 HDR video format. So 2000 by 2040 per eye, with that 90 and 120 hertz frame rate. And then there's going to be the cinematic mode, where players can see things like the PS5 system and UI and all of the other non-VR game and media content. If you're watching a movie with the virtual cinema, stuff like that will be displayed in 1080p HDR format, 24 and 60 hertz, as well as 120 hertz frame rate. So that's it. They just showed us kind of what we can expect in terms of the UI and some of the big additional features that will be coming to PSVR 2, but they do say here there will be more information soon, including a launch date and additional games coming to the platform. So PSVR 2, I have to admit, looks pretty intriguing. I'm very interested to see what the price is, how they're going to try to put it within the market in terms of between being the high-end headset and the lower-end headset, probably somewhere right in the middle there in terms of pricing. The controls definitely look like a big upgrade. That see-through mode, very happy to see that, and just an easier way to kind of plan out where you're going to be playing by able to see your environment with the headset on. Hopefully it's a comfortable headset, and we'll see how this takes off. I think VR right now is pretty cool. There's lots of games out there, but it's still nowhere near, I would say, in a mainstream area in terms of gaming. But going forward, this could continue to take off, and we'll see if more competitors come out. Maybe Xbox in the future is going to allow you to use the current PC headsets on your Xbox Series X. I think that they should look into doing that. I think that would be actually a great idea. Or maybe they will try to compete with making their own headset. We'll wait and see what happens in the VR space. But right now on console, the PlayStation VR 2 is really your only option. All right, jumping over here to probably one of the biggest mysteries in gaming, at least right now, and it has to do with Nier Automata, and it specifically has to do with an area that has been accessed that has never been accessed before. And this game has been out for 5 years, and it seems like only one player right now in the history of Nier Automata has been able to access it. So it all starts here with this question posted on Reddit on the Nier Automata subreddit from the user Sad Futego asking, "Hello, I'm new to Reddit. I was wondering how to open the church in Nier Automata." And you go down here into the comments and everyone's like, "What are you talking about? There's no way to get into a church. We have no idea what you're asking," pretty much, or just completely confused as to what the question is. And then later on, the user posts videos of exactly what is going on. So there's been 2 videos so far. This one here, and it's the video that they posted on Reddit, but the tweet here from Lance McDonald says, "Someone randomly posted a video on the Nier Automata subreddit showing they found a secret room in the copied city. So far, no one else has worked out how they managed to make this secret door appear. Literally one person on Earth has accessed this room, and we are uttered mind blown." And then there is another video that they posted to follow up on this, saying the user has posted a follow-up video showing the secret area in far more detail. It features an unseen cutscene on top of everything else. The voiceover used is recycled from elsewhere in the game. The game also, for some reason, has the item and door arrow prompts disabled. And you can go through. I'll have the links to the videos in the description below, but this has got to be literally the biggest mystery we've seen in a very long time in video games. It kind of brings you back to the olden days of video games when there was no internet and people would find these crazy Easter eggs and everyone would be just completely confused as to how they found them. But he right now seems like he's the only person that's been able to access this. So because it's so just insane how this person found this area and no one else has been able to replicate what they have found, people are kind of speculating what this could potentially be. Is it real? Is it actually a secret? Is it actually a glitch that he randomly was able to find? Nobody knows. But They say here, adding to the mystery, it's been discovered that the area seemed to exist in an old concept art version of the area, which I mean, concept art, I don't know how they could have found it in the game or how they would have allowed this game right now after 5 years that still be accessible, and nobody else would have been able to find it, so that doesn't really mean anything. But Yusuke Sato, one of the producers of the game, responded to this with posting a cryptic quote retweet to one of the videos, still keeping people guessing as to why this person was able to find this. But the creator, Yoko Taro, had previously said that all the mysteries of the game had been solved, which is leading people to think that he could be playing version 1.0 of the game. Now, nobody knows. It hasn't been discovered yet. Hopefully it will soon, because like I said, this is probably the biggest mystery in game we've seen in a very long time. And let's say it isn't real. Let's say that the person is maybe a marketing person behind the game. They are getting ready for the release of the Nintendo Switch version, the Nier Automata, the End of the Yora edition, for October 6, 2022. And hey, maybe this is all just a marketing ploy to get people talking about the game again, getting ready for the release. Or literally, it's a 1 in a million chance that somebody has a version of the game where this glitch was accessible. All right, to end things off here, let's talk about this interview at GameIndustry.biz with Stéphane Datu, who was the founder of Eidos Montreal. As you know, Eidos Montreal, Square Enix Montreal, and Crystal Dynamics, Square Enix sold them to the Embracer Group for $300 million. And when that deal went through, when that acquisition was announced, a lot of people were shocked at how low they sold them for $300 million, especially with a lot of the stuff going on within the industry, with the billion-dollar sales, all of that type of stuff, with the market right now at an all-time high in terms of how much developers are getting if they do decide to sell to a bigger conglomerate. It was crazy, the $300 million price tag. So within this interview, he talks about this. He talks about how it was a trajectory that he kind of could have predicted. He saw this kind of coming down the line just with the management from Square Enix Japan and the Tokyo studios over there, where they weren't managing things properly. They were always underselling the games that they had, the IPs that they had, and they always, if you remember, with even games like Guardians of the Galaxy, would say that they did not sell well. They would cut the prices of them, all of that type of stuff. Even if games had sold millions of copies, there was always sort of a negative spin from Square Enix in terms of the performance of these games. So he talks about all of this. I'm not going to go over everything. It's a pretty interesting interview. If you do want to check it out, it will be in the description below. But one of the main things that have been going on in the rumor mill, you could say, in terms of acquisitions recently has been, is Sony going to be buying Square Enix? And he actually touches on this in his thoughts here, saying, if I read between the lines, Square Enix Japan was not as committed as we hoped initially, and there are rumors, obviously, that with all these activities of mergers and acquisitions, that Sony would really like to have Square Enix within their wheelhouse. I heard rumors that Sony said they're really interested in Square Enix Tokyo, but not the rest. So I think Square Enix CEO Matsuda put it like a garage sale, essentially implying that he thinks, and there's a lot of other people out there that think, if you take a look at what is going on with Square Enix, what they did with these 3 studios to sell them off, they're just getting ready to kind of downsize and offload some of the studios that Sony would not want in order to be able to merge with Sony for PlayStation and really focus on Square Enix as the Japanese studios, which are extremely popular in Japan, extremely popular on PlayStation, the titles that they put out. So being able to do that would make the purchase better for Sony, and that's why they went ahead and they sold Square Enix Montreal, Eidos Montreal, and Crystal Dynamics for $300 million. Well, I mean, some of great IPs out there like Tomb Raider, like Deus Ex, they stuff like the Legacy of Kain IP, all of that type of stuff, which are popular IPs, but obviously wasn't popular enough for Square Enix. So will they be selling them? We don't know. This is something that has been going on in the rumors for a very long time. We take a look at the relationship right now between Square Enix and between Sony, and they have a very good relationship. Sony continues to throw bags at them to keep games off of other platforms, maybe kind of testing out how it all works together. and then going forward, once a couple of months down the road, or maybe in 2023, they will announce that they have purchased Square Enix. It's hard to tell. They just closed on the Bungie deal. That one is official. So I predicted that if they were going to buy another studio, if there was going to be another big acquisition, it wouldn't be until the bigger deals close, which would be that Bungie deal. So maybe we'll hear something in the future, but we'll have to wait and see how this all goes down. According to the founder of Eidos Montreal, they seem to think that, hey, Square Enix is looking to sell and Sony is right there and they're going to want them in their wheelhouse. Anyways, guys, that's it for me. Let me know your thoughts on the Square Enix situation. Do you think Sony is going to end up buying Square Enix? What do you think about PSVR 2? Do you want to see Xbox get a VR headset? What do you think about that Xbox partnership? And what are your thoughts on the Nier Automata mystery? If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. If you're new here and you liked what you saw, consider hitting that subscribe button. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for your support, and I'll catch you in the next video.
We'll be right back.